From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode, the Department of Transportation has some opportunities you may be able to seize. We look at the world of esports, and we meet a lifelong Hoosier who keeps his keen eye on his business as a professional photographer.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
Let's get started. We meet a lifelong Hoosier who keeps his keen eye on his business as a professional photographer. He's also certified with the Office of Minority and Women Business Development and is the Vendor of the Month for August. Let's meet Don Briggs.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
Well, my company is a global photography company. The people that I work for, our organizations are Fortune 500 companies, cover construction companies, architectural companies. We do corporate photography for major corporations. We do small events also. Well, I started when I was a teenager. When I was about 16 years old, I loved photography, and I always wanted to do photography. And my mom supported me, and one day she bought me a camera. And it started from there, and it's been there ever since. I have worked with a guy that was my mentor. He worked for the state as a photographer. He taught me a lot about photography. He's no longer around now, but just happy that he was there for me. And I try to mentor people myself. I've volunteered for certain things that are going on, like, for instance, this CLD. It deals with a lot of young kids and things, and I used a lot of my tools and talent to help them. As far as we had programs going, I'd volunteer my time and talent. So it was a surprise to me. I got an email one day, and it said that I had been nominated for Vendor of the Month. And I said, well, is this a real email or is it a fake one? So I looked into it more and found out it was, and I'm like, wow, it was an honor that I was receiving this. I think a lot of vendors out there that are trying to be entrepreneurs out there, it's a good thing that the city's doing this for them. It can be a tough environment. It's so much competition. Anymore, everybody has cell phones, and they think they can be a photographer with the cell phone. You'll get a picture out of it, but as I tell a lot of my clients, I don't do pictures, I do photographs. It's a difference. Well, I come from a field, in the photography field, where it was film. And I had to develop my craft, because then you didn't see your final product until it was developed. With photographers now, you have digital, and digital, you can see it instantly. So I think it made me a better photographer coming from that direction. And when I started working with digital, I still had the talent. I just had to learn the new technology. It's really changing. And I just listened recently here on, I guess it was on the news, they even talked about AI and how AI is starting to take over the industry as far as photography. And my thoughts on it is AI is okay, but you still got to have the talent to really do a job that you need to do as far as a photographer, because you're creating what's in you, not some computer doing the job for you. When I first started in photography, the playing field wasn't this level for me, because there wasn't a lot of minority photographers here in the city. I was one of a few, and the type of photography I did was at a different level, because as a young guy, when I first got into photography and learned it and saw the kind of images that I was putting out, and I realized, hey, I can make money off of this, because I saw some of the other professionals that were doing things out there. Of course, I was a little amateur at the time, and my images were surpassed in some of those images, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me see what I can do, see if I can make money. Well, I've learned it. Well, what I do, it helps people, and it makes me feel good as a professional photographer to see a person's expression, hear what they have to say, to give the emotions that come out of it. It what makes me feel good. Even more, I like the pay, but to be able to see somebody and you're making someone's day when you bring out what they have inside. I try to involve everybody when I'm doing photography. I make them feel like they're part of what I'm doing, make them comfortable. So when I do take the shot, it comes out, you can see it in them. I want to make them feel the emotions behind it. I want them to remember what they went through to get this final product, and remember me, of course. I want them to feel joy inside. I want them to feel like this is the best experience they've ever had. My wife will make me leave my camera at home at times. She says, you don't need to take it with you. And I say, but that'll be the moment, that perfect shot happen, and I don't have my camera. My advice would be hone your craft. That's what you do. You work at your craft until, as I say, that camera becomes part of your body, your hand. Every time you touch it, you know exactly what your camera is going to do and what you're capable of doing with the camera.
Time to talk accessing capital. To procure something means to get it, obtain it. When a government agency offers procurement opportunities, it's a call out to all who offer goods and services who then bid on a contract. In this case, it's the Department of Transportation knocking on doors. Here's what you need to know to answer.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to capital.
I work for the DBE program. Equity Initiative Services is our division's name. And what we do is we certify women and minority-owned business to participate in U.S. DOT-funded projects across the state. Most people don't know what the DBE program is. If you're familiar with Minority Goal programs, they're usually the MWBE program. A lot of people call them MeVE programs that the state has through the Indiana Department of Administration. The city has a statewide program as well. The city is a little unique. They also certify, IDOA certifies veterans as well. City certifies veterans and disabled people along with women and minorities. But the DBE is transportation industry specific. It is through the U.S. Department of Transportation. So any funding received from U.S. Department of Transportation usually has a DBE goal attached. There are some rare exceptions. Most of the funding in the state comes through Fed Highway. So INDOT, roads, everything around you. The FAA, so Federal Aviation Administration, airports receive a lot of funding through US DOT, FTA, Federal Transit Administration, transit lines, railroads, things like that, receives funding. INDOT is the sole certifier for the DBE program in the state. It's an interesting program because unlike their standard MeVE programs, it also has a financial component. So basically, no multimillionaires can qualify for the program. Your business has to be a small business by SBA standards. So it's specifically for women and minority-owned small businesses. Anyone is eligible, but the businesses that usually find it most useful are either transportation businesses or transportation adjacent businesses. The two biggest categories, so there's two sides to most construction projects. You have the design phase, which we call consultants. So your engineers, your surveyors, everything that goes into designing a project. And that's pretty much true across the board. So if you're looking at an Indigo project, there's a phase where they're developing the project. And then you have the construction side. So the people that actually go out and, mill the roads, pour the asphalt, do the concrete, do the striping, do the traffic control, do the barrier walls, all that sort of thing. So you also have components where people who do like professional outreach, so public outreach for the programs, they can participate as well. So it's a pretty broad range. As long as you're transportation or transportation adjacent, you'll find a place within the DBE program. The DBE program is governed by CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. We are limited to a 90-day processing time once a file is considered in good order by the CFR. However, we're pretty efficient. We have an electronic program. Everything we do is electronic, and we usually run about 30 days. So you can sign up to receive notifications both on the construction side and the consulting side. And most like larger recipients of the federal funds have similar websites, like Indianapolis Airport Authority has a great website. It's very similar to INDOT's, so you can receive notifications from them as well. Indigo, it's across the board. You can sign up for notifications anywhere you want to. The certification is good for as long as you qualify for the program or you withdraw from the program. You never have to renew the certification. Once you're certified, you're certified. The only thing you have to do, you have to submit a no-change affidavit on an annual basis, which is a pretty simple process. Some of the most popular areas are haulers, so people who drive triaxles, always plenty of work for that. Flagging, traffic control, things like that are always needed. Oh, the future is fantastic. So a few years ago, Indiana passed the gas tax, which almost doubled INDOT's budget. So, and INDOT kind of went, okay, we've got all this money. We better prove to our taxpayers that we can do something with it. So all these big projects that are going on, and then you had the bipartisan infrastructure bill to happen. So over the next few years, we're going to even get more funding. And then right now, like we have the huge ORX project that's just starting down in Evansville. That project is going to run, I think, for almost a total of 10 years. So if you get involved in that project, potentially you have 10 years worth of business. So we get funding from the Federal Highway Administration to run supportive services programs for the DBE businesses. So those entail, you can get a free capability statement, you can get a marketing plan, you can get a business plan, you can get a website developed. We offer a suite of business classes, because we have a business development program. So especially if you're first getting into business, the classes can be very helpful, and it's 6 weeks. This runs over a 6-week program. Get on INDOT's website, look at the process for application. You don't need someone to, you don't need to go out and hire someone to do it for you. Email us, eisinquiry@indot.in.gov. Ask for a business consult. We will talk to you. So my colleague Zola, who's standing off camera, we get paid to talk to you about your business and if it fits well in the program and exactly how to go about the process. So that's what we love talking to people. So just email us, say you'd like a business consult. We'll set up a call with you.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities, and our industry focus. Esports, short for electronic sports, is the booming field of highly competitive video game play. At its highest levels, esports feature organized multiplayer video game competitions between expert, even professional players. When young gamers want to gather in central Indiana, Yes Gaming is there.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Esports is really about competitive gaming. It's been around for almost 30 years. Started in the early 90s with Nintendo. Nintendo used to be really big in the competition gaming world and did some of the first championships. And so it was very much originally based around the gaming manufacturers. And then as that evolved into the early 2000s, a lot of the players themselves started getting into establishing their own leagues and their own tournaments and really you saw esports kind of grow from a grassroots groups, such as what we have here in Fishers, where the national scene wasn't as connected as it is starting to become today. And now you do have national leagues, you do have now professional groups that are now forming leagues around certain games. But unlike traditional sports, right now esports is very open because there isn't one specific game people play. You think of traditional sports, baseball, basketball, football, you think of that one game. Esports, people try to encompass it as one thing, but it's really a multitude. You've got fighting games, you've got racing games, you've got shooting games. There's a lot of different games that encompass esports, and a lot of people try to say it, group it all together as one thing, but really what esports is a collective of any type of competitive electronic gaming. Mobile games can be esports, console games are esports, PC games are esports. It's really evolved to now any type of electronic gaming. In the Olympics, they just featured chess as an esport, which as a former chess player and used to play in chess tournaments as a kid and won a few chess tournaments, I never thought of chess as a electronic game or an esport. Several years ago, just before COVID, I was in Las Vegas in 2019. I got the chance to go into a Razer facility. Razer is a gaming manufacturer, one of the kind of best, more recognized gaming manufacturers here in America, really getting me excited about PC gaming and competitive gaming. I got home, started thinking about this as a whole, like, wow, what a really awesome facility that was, and why don't we have anything like that around here? I actually started talking to the local coach here. We have 2 high schools here locally that were just starting esports programs. I reached out to one of the coaches and asked them, where are you playing? Because I want to get my kids involved with esports, but where do I send them to? Where can they go and practice and play? Unlike, baseball or golf, right? There's a golfing range or a batting cage I can send them to. I wanted to know where will my kids go to get good or become part of these teams? And unfortunately, the coach informed me that there was no place locally to play, that all the kids were just playing at their houses by themselves and talking over, chats and discords. And so I realized that, oh man, there's a really big need for this. My kids would obviously be able to benefit from something like this, and I know other kids around the local area would certainly be able to benefit as well. And I started working with the coach to figure out what kind of facility could we put together that would help benefit the teams and the coaches and the parents and players. Unlike other gaming centers where they just put a bunch of consoles or games in there, we really wanted to be focused around the teams and esports and really training and giving the kids a place where they can play together and be able to get good and have an advantage. Some people might have a good internet setup at home. Some people might not. Some people might have a really fast computer. Some people don't. And so when you're all playing at home, you might have one kid that's got all these great things and then somebody else that may not have that same advantage. When they come here, they're all getting that same high advantage on really great fiber dedicated network, on great gaming PCs that have all the advantage for them so that everybody's able to compete at the same level and be able to hopefully win. And that's what we're looking for is some of these players, they're trying to get college scholarships. They are looking to get on pro teams. They're looking to start streaming or content careers. They want to get into game development or game testing. And so being able to have a place where they can come together, play together, get good, and get that recognition and hopefully help them reach their dreams was what we were trying to aspire for and why we wanted to start this and how we got this off the ground. And just as a whole, the esports industry right now is about $1 billion a year, they estimate, and they're saying between now and 2030, they're expecting it to grow to $5 billion. So tremendous growth opportunity over the next 6 to 7 years. So as a whole, esports is just, there's a lot of eyeballs on it. There's a lot of attention. So there's going to be tons of opportunities for both going pro. They're signing young kids, teenagers to $1 million contracts. So there's tremendous opportunities within the gaming industry for both professionals as well as players, as well as people supporting the industry, broadcasting and IT and other things.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is BEO@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunities Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.